Jacinda Ardern is overrated. She is not some evil tyrant as some right-wing morons will pretend. Although I do disagree with some of her policies, the hate speech laws, the ute tax, and the vaccine mandates being some prominent examples. But the American left has deluded themselves into thinking she was some great progressive icon. She was not anywhere near as progressive as these people pretend. Jacinda Ardern did pass gun law reforms, but that was not because she was super progressive. That was simply because there was no constitution to stop her. Many Democrat politicians would probably do the same if they could. Jacinda Ardern did have a few genuinely good progressive policies. First year fees free for university students, free school lunch programs in schools, legislation to empower trade unions. These are good, basic progressive policies. But Ardern could have done so much more. She had unprecedented power. Labour had a majority in Parliament. It was the first time a party had held a majority since the MMP electoral system was adopted in the 1990s. And all of that power was wasted away. All of the political capital was not used effectively. Most of it was wasted on stupid things like co-governance, hate speech laws, and the RNZ-TVNZ merger. All kinds of expensive, unpopular policies that were being evaluated and then scrapped the next day, at significant cost to the taxpayer. Jacinda Ardern always talks about empathy and kindness, largely because talking about these virtues compensates for the lack of time spent actually honouring them. I don't care what virtues a politician says they have, I want them to show me what virtues they have. And you do that through policy. Ardern did not deliver, at least not to the extent that you would think she would. She most certainly is not a progressive icon and should not be treated as such. Jacinda Ardern was a moderate liberal career politician. She was not a bold reformer. She did not introduce a capital gains tax. She did not even have the spine to support legalizing cannabis. Even many of the worst corporate Democrats at least support that. She had unprecedented power, and she did the bare minimum. She could have radically transformed this country for the better with a comprehensive pro-worker realignment. She failed to do so, because she did not even bother trying. As I say, legalizing cannabis and tax reform were considered too radical. These kinds of policies should be the bare minimum requirement for a serious left-wing candidate. When the right-wing coalition is voted out, I do not want another Jacinda Ardern. I do not want a return to this failed approach. It will just be more of the same, and then an even worse right-wing government will take power. This kind of moderate liberal politics is what has empowered the far right. A return to these people is going to fix nothing. They cannot satiate populist sentiment. They cannot solve fundamental problems. They tinker around the edges, but they refuse to enact bold reform. And the complacency and indifference that they represent is what got us in this mess to begin with. We do not need another Ardern, just as the USA does not need another Barack Obama. We need bold pro-worker reformers who are willing to transform our nations for the better. Liberal technocrats belong to a bygone era.